All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good
Morning.
morning. Hello, thank you. Good morning. All right, thank you so much for joining the Good Life Program for Healthy Aging, brought to you by UC Davis School of Medicine, the California Department of Health, and the City of Oakland Parks and Aging Services. My name is Shanette Merrick, and this is Let's Get Cooking. Hello to all of you. Hey, Rosie. All right, so today we're making a broccoli salad. So we've made a couple of broccoli salads in the past, but this one is a little bit more refreshing. It's a little simpler than the other ones, and obviously different ingredients. We're looking at summertime vegetables right now. So corn is one of my favorite summertime vegetables, even though we're still at the end of spring, but you know, summer is rapidly approaching us in a couple of weeks. We have red onions, lemon, garlic, cilantro, and broccoli. So I'll go over the exact measurements of those things. So we have 1 tablespoon of grapeseed or olive oil for the corn, which we're going to use to really kind of pan fry and kind of give the corn that grilled flavor. All right. And then we have another 1/4 cup of olive oil for the dressing, 2 cloves of garlic for the dressing, 1 lemon squeezed, 2 medium heads of garlic cut into bite-sized florets, which are going to be boiling them, okay? 1 ear of corn, shucked and the kernels removed after we grill it. A half a medium red onion, peeled and sliced.
I guess.
1/4 cup chopped cilantro, and then salt and pepper to taste, okay? All right. So the total prep time is going to be about 20 minutes, and the total cook time is probably going to be like 30 to 35 minutes. All right, you guys. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start chopping up our broccoli into florets. So I've already rinsed my broccoli off. These are pretty big florets, but you know, at the Oakland Center, the DACA, we are feeding multiple people, so it's okay. I have lots of broccoli today. So the first thing I'm going to do, let me move all this stuff out of the way so you all can see. All right, is my view clear? Can everybody see me? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and turn this head of broccoli upside down. And I'm just going to start chopping off at the base of the stem, a little bit above, and just getting those florets off of that big stem. And just make sure you're cutting away from your fingers, okay? Hello, Valerie. All right, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and get my little waste bowl. Take out my other head. And so for some of these, you wanna make sure you're cutting them down. So like that one's big, so I'm just gonna cut it down. And you want to cut it into like sizes that are big enough because it's a broccoli salad. So essentially, you want it to be, you know, big enough to where it's not going to get like super mushy when you boil it, and but small enough to where it's like a nice bite size. But that's, you know, up to you, your interpretation of that. Right? These are what my florets look like. You all can see that.
Fun fact, broccoli is an edible green plant in the cabbage family whose large flowering head, stalk, and small associated leaves are eaten as a vegetable. It is available all year, but it is the best during peak season during October through April. Broccoli is full of vitamins, packed with vitamin C and A. 1 cup of broccoli has more vitamin C than an orange. The vitamin A in the vegetable can help fight cancer and keep eyes healthy.
That's a lot of nutritional value in broccoli. I love broccoli. Broccoli is actually one of my favorite vegetables. All right, so now I'm going to move on to my second head of broccoli. Just kind of keep going in there, just going around and cutting those florets off. I get to this middle. Just slide my knife down to make it easy. And some of these, like, you can actually break it too. You don't have to cut it, you can break it. So this is lovely. Chopping vegetables is so meditative to me. I get in a little bit of a zone. All right. So I'm just gonna get all this together. So now the next step that we're gonna do is get ready to boil the broccoli. Naya, can you tell me the instructions in regards to boiling and how many minutes we're boiling?
So regarding boiling, you will bring about 4 to 6 cups of water to a boil, and then you will be adding in your broccoli bites and boil for 2 minutes.
All
Once
right,
those 2 minutes are done, you're going to strain and add to a cold water bath.
perfect. So you just want to make sure that your broccoli, the water is covering your broccoli to boil it, so you can do it a couple ways. This is saying boil your water, add it in, so we can do that. So I would say, depending on how big your pot is how much water. I would say we start with 6 cups, and then if you need to add a little bit more water to cover it, to make sure that it's cooking in that 2 minutes time, because ultimately we're gonna take it out really quickly in 2 minutes. So you wanna make sure that your broccoli is submerged. So I'm just gonna run over, get my 6 cups of water. Naya, if you have any other fun facts, there's good time, so.
Did you all know that in the United States, broccoli is the third largest growing factor? In California, we produce about 90% of the broccoli produced in the US.
All right. So now I have my water ready for my broccoli. I'm going to do this, turn my stove on, and get my water to a boil before I throw my broccoli in. So I'll just put all this stuff over here. So while that's happening, I'm gonna go ahead and clean my chopping board so I can get ready to start prepping the other vegetables. So one of the things you're probably gonna have to do, unless you have frozen corn, and if you have corn, like a canned corn or frozen corn, you're gonna have to just cook that. Frozen corn, but huge canned corn also be perfectly acceptable. If you don't have an ear of corn to cook. Say, just get really creative with your recipes. Don't let one ingredient discourage you from not. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my corn and we can just start prepping stuff. So if you have corn that came and has the husk on it, you can go ahead and start pulling this back. Well, right now we're waiting for our water to come to a boil so we can throw our broccoli flakes in there, okay? And if anybody else has any questions, please let me know. You just want to get as much of this silk off of it as possible. And then we can rinse them. All right. I'm just going in. So like I said, if you have canned corn or frozen corn, you can use that. And if you really want that taste that we're gonna get from actually putting this corn on a pan with a little bit of oil and getting it nice and bringing out those flavors and kind of caramelizing some of those kernels, you can also do that with your canned corn with the same effect, just a little bit of oil and char it up a little bit. All right. So I've picked most of that off. I'm gonna go rinse this off. Now, if you have our corn fun facts now, that's a good time to say it.
Fun fact, corn is rich in vitamin C, an antioxidant that helps protect your cells from damage and wards off disease like cancer and heart disease. Yellow corn is a good source of carotenoids, which are good for eye health and help prevent the lens damage that leads to cataracts. So it's looking like both our corn and broccoli are both good for our eye health.
Just good, because you need to eat everything, all the things that help with your eyes. I know I have losing my vision every day. I need my glasses. I'm always squinting. So all these things are really good. It helps support our eye health, which is awesome. So now I'm gonna go in and just do the next part that you guys know I do not like. I still need to invest in some goggles like Valerie has, so I'm not burning my eyes. But I'm gonna go ahead and get my onion cut. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. So the first thing I'm gonna do, because we're gonna use half of this onion, but you know, we all have different ways that we cut onion. But I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this little bottom off so it can lay flat. And then I'll cut this side off. So I'll just cut these things off, it helps. Because for some reason with the red onion, those outer layers are a lot thicker. All right, so now it's able to sit flat. And I can go ahead and cut it in half. And then I'm just gonna take, and if you want more onion, please feel free. If you have bigger florets, like I do, like I actually may need this whole onion. So it just depends on how big your florets are, okay? If you have a lot of broccoli or you're making more, feel free to use your discernment about how much chopped onion you want. So I'm taking that outer layer off. So I took this outer layer off, which leaves me with this part. These are some of my favorite onions. All right, now I'm just gonna put this on its side, on the side that's flat, okay? So you wanna make sure that you are turning that in a way that you can hold it very stably. And then if you look at the onion very closely, you can see how it has natural lines going up and down. And my best advice to you is that when you wanna slice that way, that you follow the lines, the natural lines of the onion, okay? So I'm just gonna go in. I'm just gonna start following its own lines, and you're gonna get a good slice. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it perfectly in the groove, but it already does have some guidelines there for you to follow. All right, now I'm just gonna take this onion and squeeze it back together, and I'm just gonna bring it down for a nice little chop. Be careful for your fingers. All right, so that's actually a nice amount of onion. So I'm just gonna go back through and just make sure I got all my, there's some bigger pieces in here. Just do a nice little rough chop. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so I'll leave those there. And everybody can check on your water to see if your water is boiling. I have to rinse my hands because my eyes are burning. Naya, do we have any onion fun facts?
Yes.
Besides the fact that they make your eyes water?
Fun fact, onions are full of sulfur compounds that protect the body from ulcers and various cancers. They can also fight bacteria in the urinary tract. The most important of these compounds is called curcumin. It's an antioxidant compound that could provide protection against cancer, heart disease, and allergies.
I love that. Now that type of information we love because we love plant medicine. So I'm all about plant medicine. And so as we learn about all of the things that we're eating and why we should be eating healthy, and we're also learning about the medicinal uses of a lot of the fruits and vegetables and herbs and things that we find in our gardens. And so that empowers us to be able to heal ourselves, right, in the comforts of our own home. So thank you very much for that, Cody. I appreciate that very much. Shirley, thank you for your onion save because I chopped my first half. Something, I don't know what told me to chop it, but once again, we'll go back with the other half. If you chopped up with me, I apologize. This onion for this recipe is just getting sliced. So that was the whole point of me telling you to follow the slices. And then I just got carried away and I started chopping. So my apologies about that. So now we're just going in and slicing. Thank goodness we only used one half. All right, so just slicing. It's a thin slices, all right? So this is what my onion slices look like. And then you can basically break them up until start separating them. Or you can throw it in like this and separate them in the bowl if you don't want to break it up with your hands because my eyes start to water when I'm touching onion for too long. I don't know if anybody else is like that. This is actually really challenging for me right now. You guys see that? I'll just pull it out apart.
Might have to step in and grab some here.
All right, so that's what we're looking like. Thank you so much. So if your onions look like this, it's okay. If you did the whole onion, you're only supposed to do, so if you did it, the other half, this is what the recipe actually wants your onions to look like. So you can save those for some tacos, okay? For some nice vegan tacos. All right, so we have our onions, we have our broccoli ready to go. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna chop up our cilantro. So what I like to do is cut the stems off and then go in and start to rough chop the top part of the leaves. And so we need a 1/4 cup of cilantro. If you want more, if you like a lot of cilantro, feel free. The recipe's recommendation is a 1/4 cup of cilantro. I find with recipes like this, when it's like saying 1/4 cup of this type of vegetable, of 1 ear of corn, you may really like corn. You may want to do 2 ears of corn. Don't feel bad, or maybe you want to meal prep and make enough so you can save for later. Do just that, okay? So you just always know you can double those measurements, or you can subtract those measurements based on what your needs are. So I'm just gonna go in and rough chop this cilantro. Cilantro smells so amazing to me, and it has so many healing properties. Naya, want to tell them
Fun
about the healing
fact,
properties?
cilantro is an herb with a fragrant citrusy flavor. It is a rich source of antioxidant, vitamin A, and vitamin C that can help prevent skin damage and fight free radicals, thus preventing early signs of aging such as wrinkles, pigmentation, and sagging skin.
And we all know we want our skin to stay nice and healthy. All right, so I have my cilantro nice and chopped up and ready to go. And that's all, that's way more than a 1/4 cup, but I can store it, use the rest for later. If you don't want to chop up the whole thing, but you see I have some minced onions now and some cilantro, so maybe I can find some tomatoes I can make some myself, some salsa later. All right, my water is starting to make a gentle boil right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in my broccoli to my water. And so just remember, we want to just boil it for about 2 minutes.
And I'll
So
go
we
ahead
get all
and
that broccoli in there.
put on a timer for you.
So I'm gonna push this broccoli down and just make sure that it's submerged in the water. Now, normally when I cook broccoli, I steam it, or sometimes I pan fry it with just a little bit of olive oil and no water. So this is a very cool way and a different technique to cook broccoli and have it served. I'm actually really excited about throwing it in the cold water bath, because the cold water bath is going to basically shock it. It's going to make it so that color remains bright, and it's going to stop the cooking so it doesn't get mushy. You can also achieve the same thing with the ice bath. If you want to throw it in some ice, same thing. All right. So now while this is getting ready to boil, it looks like we just want to go over and make sure that you guys are okay.
Once the broccoli is boiled, should we drain it and take it out the water, or are we gonna use that water, the same water for
We're
the
not,
corn?
yeah, we're not gonna use the water. So yeah, basically what we're gonna do, so if you can do it a couple ways. You can throw it into a strainer and pour out the hot water, and then throw it into, we're gonna fill up another bowl with cold water, okay? And then, so once we take it out and strain the water out, we're gonna throw it into the bowl of cold water immediately. Because we wanna shock it and
The broccoli?
stop it. Yes, ma'am. So we're not gonna save broccoli water at all. You don't need the hot water, just strain it out and then have a nice bowl of cold water waiting that you're gonna throw your broccoli into to shock it and stop the cooking process, okay? Okay, so I think it's safe that I put some cold water into my bowl. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, okay? And what you can do is you can put the water in, or you can dump your broccoli in and maybe fill the pot up with cold water after you empty it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna empty the pot with my hands.
All right. Did you guys know that, fun fact, onions are linked to good oral health? Onions are often used to prevent tooth decay and oral infections. Chewing raw onions for about 2 to 3 minutes could possibly kill all germs present in the mouth area.
All right, so I'm gonna bring this over and do this in front of y'all. So I have my broccoli that I have strained out the hot water. Now I'm gonna throw it into this cold water. And I need to add some more cold water to it because that's not enough.
Oh, yes, that broccoli is steaming hot.
It is, right? Some of that broccoli, and now it's submerged. So I'm just gonna make sure that the broccoli just gets submerged into that water. Can you all see that? Just making sure that. So now no more steam. No more steam.
All right.
All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let that sit for 2 minutes. All right, so the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and start getting my pan ready to cook the corn. So I'm gonna turn on my stove again.
Fun fact, corn contains a variety of B vitamins such as potassium. The latter mineral supports healthy blood pressure, heart function, muscle contractions, prevents muscle cramps, and helps maintain muscle mass. Corn also supplies about 10 times more vitamin A than other grains.
All right, so my oil is now pretty warm. And I'm gonna go ahead and start putting my corn inside here. I'm gonna put two ears of corn because I have an awful lot of broccoli. And I have 2 ears of corn and I'm feeding a lot of people. All right, so now I'm gonna have my tongs. So I can, oh, it's popping. Turn that oil down a little bit. All right, and so that broccoli that's been sitting in the water also, it's been in there for about 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and strain this broccoli out now also.
So we're pouring the water off of it?
Yeah, I'll pour the water off. Pour the water off of it now. Just gonna let it sit there so I can get all of that water off of it. We'll kind of check on the corn. Now what I did not do is bring my cast iron skillet, which I could have, because it would have cooked a lot faster, but it's okay, we're just gonna make this work. So while that corn is going ahead and it's sprouting, we're gonna go ahead and get together our ingredients for our dressing, okay? So we're gonna go with our cloves of garlic, our lemon, and our olive oil and salt and pepper, okay? Eric, can you have me a bowl over there so I can get the thank you. We'll put this cilantro. These things ready for the salad. So you can pretty much leave your corn on there because you're gonna want it to get to brown. So it may take a little bit of a minute to do that, and depending on what kind of pan you have. So it's totally fine just to leave it a little on the pan, but go ahead and do its thing. All right, so now what we're gonna do, now you wanna go ahead and run the instructions for the dressing, how to put the dressing together?
Yes,
Please.
for the dressing, in a bowl, mix together 1/4 cup of olive oil, the juice of 1 lemon, about 2 garlic cloves. You can use more if you would like, and salt and pepper to taste at your own discretion.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start getting together my garlic. I'm just gonna press down on the garlic head. Garlic clove, I should say. Get that out of there. And here are my corn singing over there. Corn is singing. I think I might do a little bit more because I have a lot more broccoli, so a little bit more salad dressing.
Fun fact,
I
garlic
love garlic.
is widely recognized for its ability to fight bacteria, viruses, fungi, and even parasites. One study found that allicin, an active compound of freshly crushed garlic, has antiviral properties and was also effective against a broad range of bacteria, including multi-drug resistant strains of E. coli.
Extremely powerful garlic is. All right, so I've mashed all of these down. Now you know we can do it the complicated way. We can take each one and just carefully go down and slice and turn the dice, or you can just put it all in a pile and just kind of go crazy on it, which I like to do. Just run my knife through, keep pulling it back in and just running it through and getting a nice little rough chop. If I want a little bit too crazy on it, it's fine. My corn sounds like it's doing things, it's talking to me. All right, now if you can see that my garlic is being broken down. Now for this dressing, like if you want to make it a little bit sweeter, you can add tahini and agave. If you want to make it creamier, you can add tahini. If you want to make it sweeter, you can add agave. If you want it creamier and sweeter, you can do both. To make it a peanut butter dressing, you can add peanut butter to it. Be creative with your dressing. The dressing is this is versatile. You can put whatever dressing that you need for, and it'll really change the vibe of the salad. All right, now if you can see, I want you to see what my corn is looking like on one side. Can you see that? How pretty that is? We want some of that on a couple of those sides. So when we cut it off, that's what it looks like inside of our salad, okay? All right, so let's turn that corn, let it do its thing. All right, so now I'm going into my bowl with my garlic. I'm going in with my quarter cup. Garlic and my salad, and then I'm going to go in with my lemon. Now let me tell you a really amazing story. So I don't know, some of you may know over the weekend we were on my way to work and had a meeting with some of these amazing people that were going to be doing some work in Southern California, which you all will be hearing about. One of the guys, his name is Javier, shout out Javier from ILA. And he's been editing our videos, okay? He's been editing our videos, so when I met him, he looked really familiar to me, and I asked him, like, hey, you look familiar, you know, I know you look like you don't know me, but I didn't hear. I've been watching all of the videos, they're amazing. He loves our class, he loves what we're doing here. And he bought me a lemon squeezy. And you guys know why he bought me a lemon squeezy? Can anybody tell me why? I forget yours. Because I always forget mine. And he's seen this video so many times that he was like, let me get this lady a lemon squeezy now that she's coming out to LA. So thank you so much, Javier. This is like literally the sweetest gift that I've ever gotten ever. And I appreciate it. All right, so I have a cool, very durable lemon squeeze, and it actually came with an adapter for lime, and that's really cool. All right, so I'm gonna go in with my lemon, and it works so well. It's the first time I'm using it. Man, that works better than the ones that I have at home. That corn is
Yeah, the corn
delicious,
sounds very violent over there.
my corn is choosing violence, actually, for sure. All right, so I'm going in and squeezing, and this is a great lemon squeeze. I threw away the packaging, I don't know what brand this is, but I would love to shout that out because this thing is pretty cool. All right, so I have my lemon juice, my garlic, now I'm gonna go with my black pepper and my salt. Okay. Now I need to stir. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and rotate my corn again. I'm getting some nice, beautiful little marks on it. It really kind of gives that vibe of like that it's been out on the grill is what we're looking for. All right, so I have all of my ingredients inside of here, and now I'm just stirring up. I have my lemon juice, my olive oil, my garlic, my salt and pepper inside of this bowl. And once again, like I said, if you decide that you want a sweeter dressing, then you could throw some agave or some honey or some maple syrup in it. Yes, Josie.
How much salt?
Well, it depends on how much salt you want. So I would say probably about a teaspoon. I would start with a teaspoon and then taste it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, do it by taste. If you don't need a lot of salt or you have high blood pressure or something, you don't really need a lot. Because that lemon juice is gonna brighten up those flavors anyway. Lemon juice is gonna do exactly what salt can do. They both really kind of act the same. All right, so now I am turning off my corn. I'm just gonna try to rotate it a little bit.
Fun fact, the
So I have,
soluble dietary fiber in lemon aids in healthy digestion. Lemons contain about 31 grams of vitamin C, which is nearly double the amount of vitamin C needed in your daily diet. Along with boosting immunity, the burst of vitamin C can help reduce your risk of stroke and heart disease with regular consumption.
all right, thank you for those fun facts, Naya. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put my corn on my chopping board here. And you guys can see my corn. It looks nice and I think it's been on the grill. So it gives you kind of like that grill flavor.
Oh,
which
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah, it's another technique that I like to use of just cooking on the stove top when I want that summertime, fresh off the grill flavor, but I don't want to open up a bag of charcoal and wait 45 minutes for the grill to get hot enough to throw my corn on it. I can do it on my stove top in a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and let this corn cool because what we want to do once it cools, we're gonna turn it up on the side and get those kernels off of the cob. And so in the meantime, while we are letting our corn cool, I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling my salad. So I have my broccoli, which has been boiled for 2 minutes and then drained and then threw into cold water to cool down and to stop the cooking. There's still water in my corn, so I'm just gonna drain out this water. Okay, so water drained out, throw my corn in there. Throw my broccoli in there. And so one of the things that I really like about the technique of like throwing your broccoli into a water bath, and you can use this trick with asparagus also, like when you're cooking asparagus and you don't want them to keep cooking and get mushy, particularly with the bigger ones, then you can throw them into a cold water bath. Sometimes ice water may be best depending on how cold your water gets, but this is like nice and well, it's not like freezing cold, but it's cool enough to where it gives more of a salad vibe, but it didn't lose any of its beautiful color. Look at how beautifully bright that broccoli is. I'm so happy. All right, so now I'm gonna start assembling my salad. So one of the first things I wanna do is I'm gonna throw in my onions. And I wanna make sure that everything gets a coat of the dressing. So I'm gonna put the I'm gonna put the ingredients in. Can you all see that? Move these things over. All right. So I have my onions in here. And you can just add as many, and that's actually a lot of onions, so it just depends on how much you like onions. Now I'm gonna add in my cilantro. Remember, a quarter cup of cilantro, so depending on how much you like cilantro, you could add in as much as you like. And now I'm going to just kind of tap on this corn, and it's cool enough for me to cut it, and I'm just gonna go down the side of this corn and get that corn right off of the cob. And it smells good and it looks really yummy. You see how pretty that is? All right. I'm just gonna take that corn and scoop it right up into the salad. All right, got my corn in. Now I'm just gonna stir up this salad dressing again to make sure that all of our flavors are blended. And then if you want to put it into like a mason jar and shake it up, you can. There's a lot of things that you can do with this dressing and really change the energy of the salad if you want to make it sweeter or keep it at a nice high citrus, lemony, bright taste. Okay. And I'm just gonna go ahead and pour that dressing over. I'm gonna leave just a little bit just to make sure. Now I'm gonna toss. So really is gonna give it a light coat. So once again, you could, add whatever you want. Like this salad looks like there would be great tomatoes in it, some cherry tomatoes. Going from lots of color. I'm just gonna pour the rest of my dressing on. So you can save some of your dressing to add directly to your own personal bowl. I'm going to play. Does anybody have any questions?
Just waiting on my corn.
Yes. How's it looking?
I almost threw it out the door because that grease and water started popping, and I was like, "Woo!"
Oh, I felt like my life was a little in danger today too. I was like, wow, that's kind of hostile over the pot. It's gonna be well worth it though. Hopefully nobody gets any burns in the kitchen trying to get their corn looking right today. And I think I'm gonna go ahead because I could definitely use more corn. I'm gonna go ahead and get this second here since everybody's still cooking. You see how pretty that corn comes out to be when you do it in the pan that way? And you get those marks on it. It just gives like that good summer energy that we love to have when the sun comes out and the corn is great. Throw it on the grill. All right. And take the rest of this corn. Just take it right off of the cob. The more corn, the better. Does anybody have any questions for me while we're? All right. Maple syrup, preferably the organic maple syrup, the hydrated maple syrup. If you don't have that honey, agave, or maple syrup. If you have tahini, that works. If you wanted to make it a little peanut buttery, that would be good. If you want to add some sesame oil to it, that would be yummy.
So add that to the dressing.
If you want to. So all I have in my dressing right now is lemon juice, olive oil, garlic, minced garlic, and salt and pepper.
Yeah, but to make it sweet, you said you can add some syrup to it.
Yeah, you can add some honey or some agave, or if you have the high grade.
Yeah, I might add some agave. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Valerie said she added some orange juice.
Yes, the orange juice, yes, because that's gonna give it that brightness for sure.
And then we have a question from Jeannie. She asks, could she substitute the broccoli for maybe string beans, or do you have any other
You
substitute?
absolutely can. I think that would make a great salad. If you wanted to make a string bean salad, you would cook it the same way, Jeannie. Just boil the string beans for a couple of minutes and throw them into an ice bath. That's actually a really great example of a replacement, especially if you're like, I'm not really too fond of broccoli or cauliflower. String beans are going to be great. And what you're going to find is that when you use the same method of boiling and then throwing it into ice water, it's going to brighten up those string beans also. So they're not going to be all dull and they'll have a lot of life in them. And then you just add the other ingredients the same way. So yes, you absolutely can. And just know that you can substitute any ingredient that you want. All right, how many people are done cooking? Because you know I'm hungry and I've been told I can't eat until you guys are eating. I got my fork ready. Here, Eric. Well, I'll let Eric try it since I'm waiting. I'm behaving myself. I feel like I need some more dressing. I might actually make some more dressing. Yeah. All right, can I try? Do I get the green light? I'm gonna go ahead and make a good taste. Go for it. All right, you guys. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We really, really, really appreciate you all. It's always a pleasure. It's always really fun to find cool and exciting recipes. We'll have lots of nice, fun, exciting, light, vibrant summer recipes for the month of June. You all stay tuned tomorrow for Michael for his exercise aerobics class at 11 a.m. If you have any questions for myself, you can always reach me at Shanette Merrick at ucdavis.edu. You can now find our previous recipes on our website at thegoodlifepath.org under our nutrition section. And thank you, as always, Naya and Eric, for being my support team today. I really appreciate you all. And thank all of you. Thank you all so much for joining another wonderful session of Let's Get Cooking. And we'll see you tomorrow, okay?